There are moments in life when everything around you feels familiar, even though you know it should not. You look at a room you have never seen, and your mind whispers, "I remember this." You hear someone speak, and your thoughts quietly say, "I have heard these words before." You walk into a new place, and a soft, unsettling feeling rises in your chest, as if your memories and your present moment are touching each other at the same time. This feeling has a name. It is called déjà vu. Déjà vu does not arrive with a warning. It appears suddenly, without sound or shape. It feels like a memory that is almost there, but not fully formed. It feels like a shadow at the edge of your thoughts. Even children feel déjà vu, even if they cannot explain the experience. That is because déjà vu does not come from outside the world. It comes from inside the mind. Your brain is always working, even when you think it is quiet. It watches, listens, compares, and predicts. It searches through your memories, checking whether you have seen something before. Most of the time, this happens without you noticing. You walk into a shop, hear a sound, or meet a person, and your brain simply says, "This is new," or "This is familiar." The feeling is simple and clear. But every once in a while, something strange happens. Your brain looks at the moment in front of you and feels a spark of recognition. The moment feels like a memory, but the memory is missing. There is no clear picture, no clear story, and no clear reason why the moment feels familiar. It is like your brain remembers something without knowing what it remembers. It is like the world and your mind are slightly out of sync. Déjà vu can feel exciting. It can feel eerie. It can feel magical. Some people think it feels like a message. Some people think it feels like a dream coming to life. Some people think it feels like a tiny glitch in the mind. But no matter how it feels, déjà vu is simply your brain trying to understand your experience in the best way it can. This strange feeling happens to almost everyone. It happens across ages, cultures, and places. It happens when you're calm, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're happy, or when you're lost in thought. It happens because the brain is powerful, complex, and sometimes a little too fast for itself. To understand what déjà vu really is, you must take a gentle journey into the mind. You must see how the brain predicts the world. You must see how memories guide your emotions. You must see how a tiny delay inside your brain can create a wave of familiarity strong enough to make your heart pause. This is where our journey begins, with the mysterious feeling that whispers, "I have been here before," even when you know you have not. Your brain is not a quiet observer. It does not simply wait for things to happen and then react. Instead, it constantly tries to predict what will happen next. Even when you are doing something simple, like walking down the street or picking up a cup, your brain uses past moments to guess what the next moment will look like. This prediction system works so fast you do not even notice it, but it shapes almost everything you experience. Imagine your brain as a storyteller. It looks at the world and writes tiny sentences in advance. The next step will feel like this. The next sound will probably be that. The next face will look familiar or new. These stories help you move through life smoothly. They help you walk without thinking about each step. They help you speak without planning every word. They help you recognize danger before it reaches you. The brain predicts so you can survive, learn, and stay safe. This prediction system is powerful because your brain remembers patterns. When you see something similar to a past moment, your brain tries to match it to a memory. It does this instantly, without asking your permission. If you walk into a room that looks like another room you once entered, your brain may react before you do. It may say, "This feels familiar," even if you have never been there before. This is your prediction system doing its job. Most of the time, the prediction system works perfectly. You feel normal, steady, and connected to the moment in front of you. But sometimes, the brain predicts too quickly. Sometimes, it jumps ahead before you have enough information. It thinks it has seen a moment before even though it has not. And when the brain's prediction feels stronger than the moment itself, the strange feeling of déjà vu begins to rise. Your brain predicts using the information stored in your memory. It does not need a full memory to react. It only needs a small pattern that looks familiar, a smell, a sound, a sequence of shapes, a movement, a sentence, a color. Even the smallest detail can remind your brain of something it has seen long ago. But your mind does not bring up the full memory. It only brings up the feeling of familiarity. This is why déjà vu often feels like a memory without a story. The brain senses something familiar, but the memory is incomplete. The prediction is strong, but the information does not match the moment perfectly. This creates a strange mixture of clarity and confusion. You feel like you remember, but you cannot remember what you remember. You feel like the moment is repeating, but you know it is brand new. Déjà vu does not always come from deep memories. It can also come from tiny predictions your brain makes every second. When these predictions become a little too strong or a little too fast, the brain reacts with familiarity, even when nothing familiar is actually happening. This is the beginning of the déjà vu sensation. A prediction that feels like a memory. A moment your brain recognizes, even though you do not. Your brain carries a lifetime of memories. Some memories are bright and clear. Others are soft and hidden. Many are so quiet you do not even know they exist. But your brain remembers far more than your conscious mind ever realizes. It stores tiny pieces of moments, like the pattern of a wall, the sound of footsteps, the shape of a window, the smell of a hallway, or the rhythm of a sentence. These pieces stay inside you, waiting in silence until something in the present looks similar. When you experience déjà vu, your brain is reacting to a moment that reminds it of something from the past, even if you cannot place the memory. The moment in front of you matches a small fragment stored deep in your mind. The match is not perfect. It is only close enough to spark recognition. Your brain says, "I have seen this before." But your conscious mind cannot find the full memory. This creates that strange, dreamlike feeling where everything feels familiar, but mysterious at the same time. Memory is not a perfect recording. It does not store every detail of your life. Instead, it saves patterns, shapes, emotions, and important pieces of moments. When you walk into a new environment, your brain scans it quickly. It checks the pattern of the floor, the angle of the light, the way shadows fall, and the arrangement of objects. If any of these pieces resemble an old memory, your brain reacts instantly. Sometimes the memory that matches the moment is very old. Sometimes it is very small. Sometimes it comes from a dream. Yes, even dreams can leave behind faint traces in the mind that feel like memories. This is why déjà vu sometimes feels like a moment from another life or another time. It is not the moment itself that is familiar. It is the pattern. This overlap between memory and reality is what creates the sensation of déjà vu. Your brain is trying to make sense of the moment. It senses the old pattern and connects it to the present, even though the two are not truly the same. It is like hearing the beginning of a song that reminds you of another song. For a second, your mind believes they are the same melody. Déjà vu can also happen when a memory is stored incorrectly. Sometimes your brain places a new moment into memory before you fully experience it. The moment feels like a memory because your brain filed it away too early. You feel as if you are remembering the present instead of simply living it. This creates the strange impression that the moment is repeating itself, even though it is happening for the first time. Your emotional brain also plays a role. When a moment carries a familiar feeling, even if the moment itself is new, your brain may search for a memory that matches that feeling. If it finds something close, the wave of déjà vu appears. This is why déjà vu can feel emotional and mysterious. The brain is not only matching images, it is matching feelings. In these moments, memory and reality touch each other. They overlap for only a second, creating a moment that feels like a whisper from the past. The moment is new, but the feeling is old. The place is unfamiliar, but the experience feels remembered. This crossing of paths is what makes déjà vu feel magical, confusing, and strangely comforting all at once. Next, you will explore something even more mysterious. A tiny glitch inside the brain. A fraction of a second where signals misalign and your mind plays the moment twice. Your brain works at incredible speed. Signals move across it faster than you can blink, and most of the time, everything is perfectly timed. One part of your brain receives information, another part processes it, another part compares it to memories, and another part helps you understand what you are seeing. All of this happens so smoothly that your world feels steady and clear. But even the most powerful systems can experience tiny delays. Just a fraction of a second is enough. When the brain receives information with a slight mismatch in timing, something unusual happens. You may see or hear something twice, but not in a normal way. You do not see two images. You do not hear two sounds. Instead, your brain processes the same moment twice, with a tiny delay between the first and the second. The first signal feels like a memory. The second signal feels like the present. Your mind mixes the two, and the feeling of déjà vu rises. Imagine a camera that takes two photographs of the same scene, only a split second apart. The first picture is sent to the wrong folder. The second picture is sent to the right one. When you look at the second picture, it feels familiar because your brain already handled the first one without you noticing. Déjà vu is similar. The moment feels repeated, but the repetition happens inside your mind, not in the world around you. This tiny glitch can happen when different parts of the brain are slightly out of sync. The timing of your senses may not align perfectly. Your visual system may send information faster than your memory system, or your emotional brain may react just a little before your conscious mind catches up. The delay is so small that you do not notice it, but your brain notices it. And that is enough to create the illusion that the moment has happened before. Déjà vu often happens when you are tired, stressed, distracted, or overwhelmed. When your brain is working harder than usual, signals may slip past each other. They may arrive in the wrong order. They may fire twice. This does not mean anything is wrong with your brain. It simply means your mind is doing its best to keep up with the world and sometimes works faster than it should. Another cause of déjà vu may come from the brain trying to quickly correct a mistake. If your brain receives information that feels confusing or incomplete, it may process it again. This second processing can feel like a memory. Your mind tries to fix the moment by repeating it, and that repetition appears as familiarity. These glitches are not dangerous. They are not signs of anything harmful. They are part of how a complex brain manages countless signals every second. Even computers have moments where they refresh a page or reload a file. The brain does something similar. It refreshes a moment. It reloads a detail. It double-checks what it sees. When the brain double-checks fast enough, the two experiences blend. One feels like the past, one feels like the present, and you are caught in the strange, fragile space between them. Déjà vu is not a supernatural event. It is not a warning. It is not a sign of a hidden ability. It is simply a tiny flicker inside the brain. A moment so quick, yet so vivid, that you feel as if time has folded into itself for just a heartbeat. Déjà vu does not appear the same way for everyone. Some people feel it often. Some feel it only once in a while. Some feel it strongly during certain periods of their lives and almost never at other times. This is because déjà vu is closely connected to how your brain handles change, emotions, and energy. When you are tired, stressed, or entering a new chapter of life, your brain works differently, and the chances of déjà vu become higher. When you are tired, your brain cannot process information as smoothly as usual. The prediction system slows down. The memory system becomes less sharp. Signals may take slightly longer to reach the parts of the brain that need them. This tiny shift in timing can cause the brain to process one moment twice. The first processing feels like a faint memory. The second feels like the present. When the two blend together, the strange wave of déjà vu rises. Stress can also increase the chance of déjà vu. When you are stressed, your brain becomes more alert and more sensitive to patterns. The amygdala, the emotional alarm of the brain, becomes active. It pays close attention to everything around you. At the same time, cortisol changes the way your brain stores and retrieves memories. Under stress, your brain may connect a new moment to an old emotional memory, even if the two moments are not truly related. This makes the present feel strangely familiar. Travel, change, and new environments can also create déjà vu. When you enter a place you have never been, your brain tries to understand it quickly. It looks for anything familiar so you can feel safe. If it finds even a tiny match from a past experience, a smell, a color, a sound, your brain may respond with déjà vu. This is why people often feel déjà vu while traveling, exploring, or starting a new routine. The brain is searching for familiarity in unfamiliar places. Déjà vu is also more common during childhood and young adulthood. This is because the brain is still growing, creating new connections, and learning how to organize memories. When the brain develops quickly, signals do not always move in perfect order. A new memory may be stored before the mind fully processes the moment. When this happens, the present can feel like a memory because the brain placed it in the memory system too early. Periods of emotional change can also create déjà vu. When you are reflecting on your life, growing through challenges, or learning new things, your brain works harder than usual. It tries to understand your feelings, your memories, and your place in the world. This active inner world makes déjà vu more likely because your brain is comparing more moments, more memories, and more emotions than normal. Even daydreaming can trigger déjà vu. If you drift into your thoughts and return to the present suddenly, your brain may need a moment to adjust. The shift between inner and outer worlds can cause a slight delay. The second time your brain processes the moment feels like a memory. This is why déjà vu often happens during quiet, reflective moments when your mind is relaxed. All of these things, tiredness, stress, travel, childhood, growth, emotions, do not cause déjà vu alone. They simply create moments where the brain becomes slightly out of rhythm or slightly more sensitive to patterns. When this happens, the brain reacts with familiarity even when the world is new. Déjà vu is your brain doing its best to make sense of your life. It is not danger. It is not mystery. It is simply your mind working hard, sometimes working too fast, and sometimes working in a way that makes the present feel like the past. Now that you understand the many reasons why déjà vu happens, it is time to bring everything together. The prediction system, the memory system, the tiny glitches, and the emotional world inside you are all part of the same beautiful design. Déjà vu feels like a small, secret moment inside your mind. It arrives without warning and disappears just as quietly. It does not leave evidence behind. It does not leave a memory behind. It leaves only a feeling, a moment of recognition without a story, a moment where your past and your present touch for only a brief second. But now you know what it truly is. It is not a sign that something strange is happening. It is not a message from another world. It is not a mistake in reality. It is simply your brain doing what it is designed to do. Your brain is always working to protect you, to guide you, and to understand the world. It predicts the next moment before it arrives. It compares everything you see to your memories. It watches for patterns. It checks for danger. It tries to make sense of every detail. Most of the time, this process is silent and invisible. But sometimes, it becomes slightly too fast or slightly too strong, and the result is the feeling of déjà vu. Déjà vu happens when your brain recognizes something before you consciously understand it. It happens when a new moment resembles a forgotten memory. It happens when signals arrive out of order. It happens when your mind is tired, stressed, overwhelmed, or going through change. It happens when your memory system and your prediction system cross paths for a single heartbeat. Déjà vu is not a flaw. It is proof that your brain is always learning. It is proof that your brain is always watching. It is proof that your mind is capable of incredible things even when you are unaware of it. Every déjà vu moment reminds you that your brain is complex and powerful. It carries your past, guides your present, and prepares your future. It protects you even in silence. It notices things you do not see. It connects patterns you do not recognize. It remembers things you have forgotten. And sometimes, for just one small moment, it lets you feel that hidden world. That is all déjà vu is. A small flicker of recognition, a brief echo of something familiar, a reminder that the mind is deeper than the moment you are standing in. And when the feeling fades, you continue forward, knowing that the mystery was never outside you. It was inside you all along.